Meet me. Welcome back, boys. We have a special video today, and a bunch of you guys have been asking me this same question. We have the third anniversary, and for the first time, we have this special Ezrin Foundation Day 5-star Covenant Hero Selector. So what is this? This basically means that for all of you who have been missing an RGB Nat 5 that you've been dying to get, it's going to be given right to you for free. Everyone always rags on Smilegate. They say their events suck, but they really stepped up their game this time. I don't think anyone's complaining about the third anniversary stuff. Maybe I'll do a video summarizing that, but I'm sure someone else did, so I probably won't. But most of the questions I've gotten has been about this. What hero should I get from this selector? Now, there's going to be some of you where it doesn't matter. You guys are just in love with a specific hero, and you want that hero, and screw whether they're good or not, or you like the artwork. That's completely fine. If that's how you feel, go for it. I mean, it's just a game, right? Like, go for whatever makes you happy. But for those of you who are more serious about, how to progress their gameplay with their pick, this video is going to go into all of that. Now, for me, I haven't decided what imprint I want yet, but I have all of these, so it doesn't really matter for me. I just had to select an imprint. But one thing to note is you cannot get some of the newer heroes, like Senya, Bomb Model, Kana, Ilanav. This just comes from Holo Trial Shop. This you get from Side Story, and you can't get any limited heroes from this selector. But every other quote-unquote normal RGB hero is on the table. So I'm going to break this video down into 3 categories of heroes that you should select. So category 1 is going to be newer players who are still struggling to get through PvE content. Category number 2 is going to be serious PvPers who are trying to fill out their hero pool to get those heroes that'll really help them take their RTA and arena abilities to the next level. And the final category will just be the things you shouldn't be picking. Now, again, if you just want to try the hero because you love them, or you really have a very specific need for them, you can ignore my recommendation, but they are just recommendations. So number 1, let's start with newer players who are still struggling with PvE content. What heroes should they take? Well, I think this is the easiest one by far. The number 1 pick is still Tamarin. If you do not have Tamarin, you need to get Tamarin. So many players struggling in PvE trying to clear, like Abyss or Hellraid or whatever it is. Once they get Tamarin, it's straight up easy mode. And a lot of Abyss floors almost require Tamarin. She's just that good. Team-wide attack buff, plus strip, plus CR push, plus healing. It's just an insane kit. And the only reason she isn't used in PvP is because the cooldown's too long, and you can't use her with Asaria because they'll always ban it out. But otherwise, she's definitely, if you're a new player and you want to clear the Abyss floors and Labyrinth and whatever it is, get Tamarin. This investment will really help you elevate your gameplay. Number 2 will be Sigrid. Sigrid is the queen of Wyvern 13, and everyone knows to get good at this game, you need to be doing Wyvern 13 nonstop. I am an endgame player, and I just do nothing but Wyvern 13. That's pretty much what the endgame is. So why not get one of the best heroes in the game at clearing it? She is pivotal to one-shot Wyvern teams. I mean, there's other heroes who can do it, but she's probably the easiest to gear. So definitely a solid choice. She's not great all around in PvP and other PvE content, but she dunks Wyvern 13, and honestly, after you've cleared all of Abyss and whatever, Wyvern 13 is the only content that matters, so Sigrid is what you're going to want to do. Next, for heroes trying to progress, is going to be Asaria. Now, Asaria on her own is really not that important, but the thing is, her S2 is unique because it resets a hero skill cooldown when you pair her with Tamarin. So if you don't have Tamarin, get Tamarin first. But if you do have Tamarin but don't have Asaria, you should highly consider getting Asaria because Tam Seria is going to be a staple to get you through a lot of harder PvE content, particularly a lot of the Abyss floors, where with Issaria paired with her, Tamarin can basically just use her ultimate all the time, and it trivializes a lot of fights. So for PvE, Sari is very strong. Even in PvP, some people enjoy using her in RTA. She's decent. She definitely is not a meta hero, but she's not bad or anything like that. And the last one, it's only if you don't have the first three. Lilius is pretty solid in PvE. She's also quite good in PvP, although she's fallen out of the meta a lot now, just with a lot of the changes to like other knights and just the DPS oriented meta. So she's not a very common pick anymore, where she used to be very meta season 1, 2, but still a solid pick. So if you don't have Tama, Sigret, or Issaria, Lilius might be something you want to go for. And that's pretty much it for newer players. I think if you're trying to progress in PvE, those are definitely the heroes you're supposed to get. So, section number 2, serious PvPers. What heroes should you get? Now, again, I'm going to assume that you have some of these heroes, right? So some of them I'm going to say, but they're not as important as others. So I'm going to try to do this in order the best I can. But I think number 1, easy, is Crow. If you don't have Crow, you're gimped. Like, Crow is so good. Like, even in all content, RTA, he's a god. Guild Wars, he's a god. Arena, it's not so much that he's bad, but it's just going to be slow and boring. But Guild Wars, if you're struggling in Guild Wars and you're always inting into crappy defenses, just run Soul Weaver Crow and everything becomes easy mode. Because Crow's so hard to kill and you could just eventually S3 them. You definitely want to have Crow. Everyone in the game should have Crow. This is going to give you the most bang for your buck PvP wise. Now, the rest of them, it just kind of comes down to what element you're missing. You're going to want to like have every element DPS available, right? So, well, before we get into that, next one, I'd say is Bassar. Bassar, there's a lot of stripping initiators now, but Bassar is still very solid. So if you don't have him, definitely a hero that everyone should have on their kit. A CR pushback, debuffing, unbuffable, um, dispelling mage that could carry Tagahells, very solid. So the rest of them, though, are kind of going to be, it's just up to you if you want it or not. So Rowana, I would say, is a must-have for PvP. She's a counter unit, but just to trivialize things like, F10A and SSB, you're really going to want her in your kit. And as an extra bonus, I didn't put her in the section with the new players, but she is actually quite good at a lot of PvE content, like Raid, and I believe one of the expeditions, the Blue Expedition, she's probably best in slot there too. So very strong in both PvP and PvE. And then let's just start going into the DPSs. So Pavel, definitely. The one problem with Pavel is if you're a newer player, you probably don't have the gear to make him work well. He's a very gear-dependent hero, but he's definitely a top tier hero, especially in RTA. The problem is a lot of these legend players are getting him to like 300 speed with nice DPS stats. Pretty out of the question for newer players. Ravi, she's kind of fallen off a little bit, especially with like Rems and stuff everywhere now, but she still is a solid 1v4 hero to have built. If for whatever reason in RTA they drafted like 5 heroes that are weak to fire and they don't have a lot of damage, Ravi becomes a must ban because she will solo. And on top of that, she's good in a lot of PvE content, particularly Automation Tower. She can solo Automation Tower if you get those front row counter things and her attack buff and stuff. Pretty crazy. Elena, she's getting a lot more popular now because they gave her a built-in Magaharas. Solid Soul Weaver, very good against Cleave because she could push herself up and give the whole team invincibility. I wouldn't say it's mandatory, but definitely a good hero to have in your kit for PvP. Kisei, also a very popular PvP hero, particularly last season because carrots were rampant and she dealt with carrot quite well. You can skill reset someone in the opener and she hits freaking hard. Like the Soulburn S1 is basically a one-shot kill against something without a defense buff if she has attack buff. Very crazy hero, highly recommend. And the last one I'm going to call out is Fire Charlotte. Fire Charlotte is very, very strong. Kind of draft dependent, but she doesn't need any crit chance, so you can build her quite tanky with high attack and high crit damage easily. And she's a very popular pocket pick, especially people who like running with Soul Weavers, like double Soul Weaver Charlotte. Very common thing. Very good hero. So now the next section is Skip. These are the heroes I just think. Oh, I forgot to mention. So for cleavers, for serious PvPers who are cleavers, I always forget to talk about cleave because I don't cleave. Flan is a great pick. Politis is a great pick. You can also consider her anti-cleave as well, obviously. And Vildred is kind of a green Vildred. I mean, is kind of a decent pick for cleavers, but it's mostly only for the speed imprint. A lot of cleavers will use the speed contest, but for newer players, I would avoid these cleave heroes. But if you're really trying to cleave, high-end cleavers will use all three of those heroes quite regularly. But if you're watching this video, you're probably not ready for that tier of PvP yet. Okay, so now let's go back to that final section, Skip. I'm going to very quickly go into the heroes you probably shouldn't take and why. Ball, he's just not really good at anything, Skip. Melissa is good against certain things like Rylot, but it's too limited that you shouldn't really invest your token to something like that, Skip. Shu got buffed, and she's a lot better now, but still, like, not many people are using her, so just Skip. Mort, I don't know. He was hot garbage with the buffs. He's significantly better, but I still haven't really seen him, so I don't know. So this might be a maybe. Violet is very meta right now, but just look at him. I'll leave that up to you, but he's just not for me. Ludwig, he hits very hard, but that's pretty much it. He sucks otherwise. People use him for meme trolls. Firelytica, very fast, but again, just not helpful. She's actually okay in some PvE floors if they can be pushed back, because she can permanently push them back forever and ever. But overall, like, the reason I'm saying Skip is not because a lot of these heroes will be good at something, right? But if you're going to invest your token, you want to pick a hero that's good at a lot of things so that you get a lot of use out of them. Like, what good is it if the hero is good on one Abyss floor? You really want to waste your token on that when you can only use them on one floor and you never use them again? They're just warming your bench. Don't do that. Cowrick got buffed. I don't know, but he was barely used before, and his buffs don't seem big enough to make him great now. Charles used to be very meta, but now counters are kind of nerfed. There's so many heroes that can't be countered. Not that great anymore. Cecilia, they're just better knights. Good for one-shots, but so many heroes are good for one-shots it doesn't matter. Same deal with Surmi and Yafine. They just won't one-shot stuff, but who cares? Destina's actually quite solid, even for PvP. The reason I didn't put her there is because you're probably going to want to build a lot of other Soul Weavers before you build her. She's basically built high ER cleanse, but you don't have to worry about that now. Ida, no one uses her. No one uses him. Vivian isn't bad, and she's pretty good at Banshee and stuff, but I don't know, she's just not used that much anymore. And in RTA, she's disappeared. No one really uses this. No one uses this. Some people use this for like Guild Wars defense, but it's unreliable. I don't recommend for right now. Chloe, just skip it. She does okay in Wyvern, but Sigurd's way better. Ken, skip. You don't really need him. He's okay, but you don't need him. Haste, skip. This is just a crappy flan. Valencia used to be really good. She's actually kind of seeing more use now because of Rem, but still, they're just better options. Lilibet, I mean, she can extinct Arby. That's what she was designed for originally, but that's not good enough to justify. Celine, decent anti-cleave, but the modern cleave doesn't revolve around Oxlots or non-attack skills anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. Ray, kind of same deal as PvE. Destina, not bad. I mean, as Destina, he's not bad, but very niche, and you're going to have to build other Soul Weavers first. Just garbage after Windrider nerf. She's okay. Is actually very important on an Abyss floor, but not worth the token. Kayron, unfortunately, he was a very good hero both in PvP and PvE before, but now that dog walking is kind of, doesn't really matter that much anymore, and there's like everything in the game, and their mother has just stripped now. He's just fallen off, like, until they give him something where it's like immunity can't be stripped from him turn one, he's going to be pretty useless. Bologna, okay in PvE, but PvP basically a non-factor. So anyways, I hope that kind of answered everyone's questions on what heroes they should pick. I think my strongest recommendation would be if you don't have Tama, you need to get Tama. And for PvPers only, if you don't have Crow, you need to get Crow. And after that, you do whatever you need to do. Another thing I would note is try to use this on the very last day if you're actually missing heroes. Like for me, it doesn't matter because I'm just going for an imprint. But if you're missing heroes, wait till the last day because we're getting those free Covenant summons. You know what's going to be really lame? Let's say you say, oh, I want Tama, I'm going to take Tama. And then the next day in your free summons, you get Tama. You could have had a completely different hero too. So absolutely be careful. Like, don't let it expire, but do all your free summons before you use this selector to maximize the chances of getting multiple new 5-star heroes, because chances are a bunch of you will get at least one 5-star hero from your 70 free summons, whatever it ends up being. So anyways, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and either I myself or one of you brilliant people will help the other people out. I hope this helped a lot of you out. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Smilegate, for these splendid, splendid presents. Till next time, boys and gals. Some people, for the record, when I say boys, that includes gals, but I'll just say that. Till next time, boys and gals, peace out.